was crying and walking, praying, crying, and walking. And I heard God say, get a new vision. Hey, good people. Long time. It's Baina. And, I was going to come in here and just kind of slide in, act like I hadn't been here. Act like I had been here all along, knowing it's been a little bit of a time since I last popped in on you. So how have you been? How you doing? I wanted to pop in. Life has been not just lifing, like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a wife, I'm a mommy, and I still do I take all of those jobs very seriously. So sometimes I find it difficult to balance, like the rest of us, right? Just to balance the whole work-life thing. And the true balance is prioritizing what comes first. And for me, what is super important and what's a priority in my life is my family, my businesses, all the things that, God has called me to. Including this. And so I wanted to come in here today because I wanted to have a conversation. And this conversation is literally 2 years late. Why would I say this conversation is 2 years late? It's 2 years late because I want to talk to the mommies who are sending their firstborn children off to college. I did it 2 years ago, and I didn't know that I would survive. I'm being very honest. It was the hardest thing for a mother like me to do, was to trust God enough to let my baby go. 2 years ago, my oldest went to college, and I wasn't devastated. There's levels to how I felt. I was sad, and I wanted to speak to the moms because people try to tell me it's okay. You'll see her again. She'll be better when you see her. She's going to wait until you see her. She's going to be so much more mature. And all of those things were very true. All of those things are very true. But I think that what I had a really hard time with was the fact that I wasn't going to get to mommy in the way that I used to mommy, or that I was used to mommying. And, it's pretty interesting because I am a mother who have always loved being a mother. Now, so I'm talking to the mommies that love to mommy, that enjoy being a mom, the moms that aren't saying like, "Ooh, I cannot wait till these kids get out of my house." I ain't talking to you. I ain't judging you. Maybe I am a little bit, but I ain't talking to you for real. Like, I don't understand, and I'm not trying to understand. I'm just saying that, I'm talking to the moms who probably overparent a little bit like me, a little hovering, but those who enjoy parenting so much that you'll never ever to a place where you can't wait to see your kids get out. I don't know it. I didn't come from it, so I don't know it. That's really what it is. But it was really, really hard. There was a sense of mourning, and I know that's a strong word. And I don't know. I think that the mothers who mother like me will understand when I say mourning. Not mourning like the death of the child, obviously. Thank you, Lord. But mourning so much the life that we used to live together. I've been my Girl Scout leader for 14 years, since kindergarten. And all the things that we used to do together, all the little things we used to do together, we won't do anymore in that way. We'll do more things. I know. But I'm talking about in the space, in the moment in my mind where I'm having to release my child out into the world and believing that everything that I did my best to give them would have taken root and will produce fruit when they get outside of this house, right? And there was a morning. I was extremely sad. I cried for 30 days. And I remember the morning. I remember the morning of, we had gotten down to where her school is. And we, figured out, the setup for the day, and we were going to drop her off to move her into this dorm. And I felt pretty good. I mean, I was sad, right? My heart was pulling. But like that night before at dinner, I started really feeling it, and I tried to ignore it. And then when we got to our Airbnb that night, we all stayed in, it was like a 2-bedroom Airbnb, but we stayed in 1 bedroom for a little while and just sort of watched TV with the kids. And I literally fell asleep on my daughter's hip. She was laying on her side, and I fell asleep watching a movie. And I think my heart was just holding on to her. And I'm gonna try not to cry. Oh, how does it feel like it? And that's why this video is 2 years late. Because I couldn't even do it in the time. I couldn't do it in the first year. I was still processing, still figuring things out, still figuring out how to live in a house with 3 people when there was 4. Lord have mercy. I promise you I said I wasn't going to cry. I've been good. And I got on fresh eyeliner. Come on, girl. Get your life together. Get your life together. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. I can't even believe that. Promise you I ain't feel that coming into this. Anywho. That night we fell asleep in the bedroom, watching television. That morning, it was probably, I think we were getting up at 8 or 9. We were getting up around 7 to be out by 8:30. And around 4 or 5 in the morning, I woke up and I couldn't sleep. And when I tell you I cried, I don't know if I ever cried that hard. Gosh. I don't know if I ever cried that hard. The feelings that I felt were, I literally said out loud, like, God, how am I going to leave her here? Girl, come on. I'm such a wuss. Y'all don't know how much I prayed for these babies. I know I'm not the only one. When I tell you I warred for these babies, the enemy was trying his best not to let me get pregnant. I got married at 25. My husband and I got married at 25 and 30. We didn't start having kids till 31. Like literally trying, and it just wasn't happening. We had a miscarriage. So, these weren't babies where like, oh my goodness, I'm pregnant. Oh my goodness. No. I had to work for these here kids. And that morning, the way I cried, like it felt like somebody was pulling my heart out of my chest. I was on the floor on the side of the bed. My husband was snoring. He was knocked out. He was none the wiser. He's sucking the curtains off the wall, and I am on the floor like in pain because I can't even figure out how I'm going to walk away from her later that morning. And so you moms who are leaving your babies for the first time in college, I understand. This wasn't supposed to be a cheerful video. It's more of a video to let you know that you're going to make it. Okay, you're going to be okay. I'm crying 2 years later because I'm remembering how hurt it was. But I literally was asking God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to leave these babies? How am I going to leave her? Like, how am I going to walk away? Is she going to be okay? Like, she has been under our covering, our home, our spiritual covering, which that would continue. But she was leaving our home. And I just I wasn't prepared for it. Sorry for the shake. Trying to get a Kleenex. I wasn't prepared for it. I thought I was. So anyway, the weekend came and went. We dropped her off. We left her. She walked away so confidently. She was so ready. Because why was she ready? Because God was with her. God was in her. God has covered her. And because we prepared her as parents. As much as I mothered I never mothered to a point where she couldn't go off on her own, you know? I never mothered her to the point where she couldn't live on her own. She actually lived in California with Debbie Allen for 4 weeks when she was 13 years old for dance. She lived in the city in the summer for dance with Ailey. So she has been, God had been preparing her for it all along. And so when we walked away from, when we drove away from campus that day, and we had dropped her off at the cafeteria, I won't forget. We dropped her off at the cafeteria, and she got out of the car. She wasn't crying. She didn't look sad to be leaving me or us. She's walking across campus to the cafeteria with her swinging her arm, with her keys in her hand, her room keys in her hand, swinging her arm. She looked like she was going to pick the field peas, or like she made collard greens and potato salad. Like, where are you going looking like you live here? Like, this is where you've always lived. That's what she looked like. And part of me was sad, like, gosh, why is she okay? But the other part of me was so happy that she was okay, because I wouldn't want to leave a crying child. That was going to make it worse, and God knew that. And so we drove all the way home, and I cried off and on, all the way home. And there were different moments that made me, I can't believe I feel emotional. There were different moments that made me cry more. If we went out to dinner, and we normally get a table, and they ask you how many, and we always say 4, and we say 3. And I wouldn't say anything in a moment, but the tears would come. I mean, it was so hard. Nobody could really understand why it was so hard. That I wasn't crying because for any other reason other than I wasn't worried about her. It was literally just mourning the life that we had built over the last 18 years. And I wasn't ready to let it go. But I knew I had to. I knew there was a new season for me. And after we got home, I started to still had another baby at home, first of all. Still had a middle schooler, which was so helpful. Still having my babies. I love to mother, and I don't know a better way to say it, but I love to mother. And if anybody out there knows me, I mother everybody, and not on purpose, not trying to meddle or anything. I just love people. Sorry, y'all. So anyway, we get home. I'm still crying every day, but I decided to start taking better care of myself, because one of the things that I didn't do well, in my opinion, and I just know I didn't, is I didn't take care of me well while I took care of the kids well. I sort of lost myself in being a mom and a wife, and not in the way that I'm talking about when I say lost myself, is I didn't take as great a care of my body as I needed to, as I could have. And so, the kids, I was a sugar police. They ate well. I made their baby food when they were babies. I nursed them both until they got rid of me and kicked me to the curb. But I came home and I decided to take better care of myself. This is what I know. This is what this video is about. This video is to tell you that your babies are going to be fine. This video is to let you know that it's time for you to go inward and take better care of yourself. There are some dreams that have been sitting in you that are laying dormant, that are just waiting for you to pick them up and go. I think it was maybe the first or second time I went to the track after she had gone to school. I went to the track, and I would just walk the track. Child lost a whole 22 or 24 pounds the first year of her college. Not from being sad, because I was intentional. I took better care of myself. I need to get back to the track, but mind your business, okay? So, I lost like 24 pounds. Was feeling good, feeling better. But one of the things that happened on that track, I want to say it was the first time I was on the track that year. And as I was walking, I was crying and walking, praying, crying and walking. And I heard God say, get a new vision. I was like, what? He's like, get a new vision. And I understood what it meant. It doesn't mean that I don't get to mommy anymore. That I can't still be the loving mom, the doting mom, the caring mom, the mom that I've always wanted to be in my heart. It doesn't mean that I can't be that, but it's time to get a new vision. God was telling me that in order for everyone to move forward, something has to shift. And when one thing shifts, everything has to shift. Because when our daughter went to school, our youngest, she's the baby, so she was coddled a little bit more, right? But there were some things that she wasn't doing before our oldest went to school that almost immediately after her sister went to school, it's like she got right in position into like leadership position, older child, only child position, whatever it was. But she got right into position. And the things that she wasn't doing, my husband and I were looking like, look what she, like, excuse me. So it's like God showed it to me like a puzzle. Almost like a chess game. I don't know how I pictured it. It was more like a chess game, and I never played chess, so I'm gonna call it checkers. But I just saw our oldest moving up and moving over, and the next baby moving up and moving over, and then I moved up and I moved over. We launched Soul Socks, our faith-based company. Our daughter went to school in August, and we launched Soul Socks in November. It had been laying dormant. It had been sitting in me for a year, for 2 years at least. But it was when she left that I got the new vision. So something has to shift. And I had to be okay with the shift. And so, mamas, I'm telling you, get a new vision. It is going to be okay. I cried for 30 days. I cried for 30 days, but I launched a whole new business. And Soul Socks had an amazing year. Amazing first year. Still doing really well. We're having a great time. We have socks, comfortable socks with Bible verses sewn into the bottom of the socks, so that it helps the believer to stand on God's word. And that was something God gave me, but I couldn't launch it because I was so busy mommying. Like I couldn't get I found it difficult to do more than one thing at a time. I don't know. Anyway, when God said get a new vision, I knew what he meant. So I'm telling you to get a new vision. This is your season to do something for you. You have done an amazing job of getting your child to a point where you can trust them and God trusts them to be out on their own. You should applaud yourself, and then it's time to do something new, something different. There's a shift that's happening in this season of yours, and I know you feel it, and you're probably thinking about something even right now, like an idea that has been back there for a few years, that now you can kind of pull it out of the rearview mirror. It's been back there in the rearview mirror. You can actually see it, but it was just too far away to touch, or it wasn't time. It could be that it wasn't time, you know? I was a very intentional parent. And so it was very hard for me to walk away and get this new vision, but I'm so glad I did. I'm stronger. I think that it's allowed my children to grow in ways that I think would be different if our oldest didn't leave, if she didn't go to school, if she didn't leave for school. The dynamics in the house would be different. Not bad for all you moms whose kids are staying home. It's not bad, but I'm specifically talking to the moms who have to let their firstborn go, because I can imagine, I remember the pain, which 2 years later is still making me cry. I need to get over myself. My husband gonna be like, really, you really cry? I ain't mean to. Y'all saw me trying not to. So tell him when he say something, y'all tell him that I really didn't mean to cry. I wasn't trying to cry. I was trying to get my life together. I was trying to thug it out and be a G, but it wasn't gonna work out. When I talk about these children, the tears be trying to come. So anyway, get a new vision, girls, moms. Know that your babies are okay. When we went back about, I want to say 4 or 5 weeks later, we went back for a parents' weekend. And the growth in them, the maturity in them, just the whole, my husband kept pulling my sleeve like trying to stop me from mommying, because I was right back in position. Meanwhile, she's lived on her own for a whole almost 6 weeks, and you know, I'm still trying to, but I'm growing too. This wasn't just a season of growth for the kids. It's a season of growth for you. One of the funny things that happened when I was upstairs crying one night was right before bed, and she hadn't called. It was probably during the first week of school, and she hadn't called hardly at all. And I was trying to let her live. I wasn't mad, but my feelings were a little, I missed her. And I remember just saying, let me just go to bed, get my life together, go on to bed. And before I closed down for the night, I opened up Instagram, and her school, the school story popped up, and I clicked the story. Girl, why was my baby? I'm sitting here crying, right? Missing her, sad, not lonely, but just missing her. And it just made me crack up because I opened up the story and she was dancing across the yard to the Tamia shuffle. She was getting it. Not, I'm crying and she is getting it. And it just showed me that she's having a good time. She's where she's supposed to be. And I was where I'm supposed to be. So mama, cry. Don't let nobody tell you not to cry. I cried for 30 days and nobody stopped me. And I'm so thankful for that because I needed to get it out. I cried for 30 days. 2 years later, you see that it still makes me emotional. I really didn't expect that. But I just remember the pain, and I know that it's going to hurt and be hard to do it. But know that you did an amazing job. Know that God has your baby covered. Know that he knew your baby before he placed that baby in your womb. He knew them. Okay? And he set them apart. Here I go again. So just know that your baby is exactly where your baby is supposed to be. And if you are the praying, covering mother that I am, and I know you are, know that your baby is where they're supposed to be at the right time. And that this leaves room for you and everybody around you, everybody in your house, everybody around you, everyone connected to you is going to shift, because if one person shifted, everything shifts. Nothing can shift and everything around it stays still. Everybody's got to move. Everybody's got to move. And that's the beautiful thing. So I even had shirts made that say, oh, shift, because the shift in life be oh shifting. And it's like, oh, crap initially. But then at the end of the day, it's bliss. It's wonderful. It's growth. So be encouraged. Go get yourself a new vision. Figure it out what it is, what business you've always wanted to start, what book you always wanted to write, a new job even. You know, maybe you're moving. I knew a couple of moms from the college that moved when their kid went to college, because now they can. You know, like you put so much into your child, and now you don't have to parent in the same way. Everything shifts, but it doesn't have to be a bad shift. For us, it was a great shift. It was a sad shift initially, and it makes seeing them again so sweet, because you see the growth. They miss you, and then they have to grow. They're going to be growing pains. That first year was tears and growing pains, but we all thugged it out, and we're all better for it. So I just want to encourage you and let you know that it's okay. Your baby's going away to college, and new things are on the horizon for both of you. I'll talk to you soon. I won't take so long to come back. Take care.